Yesterday, I told you about how climate change is causing insurance companies to leave Florida and leave Texas and leave California, et cetera, and how that might be impacting, generally people's lives. Those insurance companies that aren't leaving are jacking up their prices, in some cases doubling, tripling, quadrupling them. And increasingly, states are offering these kind of insurance policy of last resort policies where people are getting their insurance from the state. And the problem is that those policies are very expensive, too. Now, the big impact that this has, in addition to just squeezing people, I saw a tweet this morning that had a picture of a house, and it said, in 1980, this house was $110,000. Today, this house is $500,000. In 1980, people were making $7.50 an hour today, or $25 an hour today. They're making $7.25 an hour, or something like that. It said a teacher made, I forget the amount, but the amount that the teacher made has gone up by about 10%, whereas the price of the house is more than quadrupled in the 40 years since then. So. This is a problem, affordability, but there's this larger problem of just the value of the house, since for the majority, more than 80% of middle-class people, the largest store of wealth that they own is their home. And when the value of their home goes down, their credit rating goes down, their ability to function goes down, their ability to borrow against their home goes down, the ability to sell it and stash some money in a retirement account goes down. All those, as the value of homes decrease, everything hurts. And now we're getting this report. This is from the First Street Foundation. It's a housing associated kind of think tank or group. They're arguing that 39 million U.S. properties are currently overvalued because the marketplace is just beginning to reckon with the damage that climate change is doing to housing. They say that in most cases, the result of flooding, hurricanes, and wildfires, quote, has yet to be reflected in the insurance premiums, end quote. 60% are coastal properties at risk from hurricanes. That would be probably the entire Gulf Coast and the large chunk of the East Coast. And now apparently, Southern California, from what we just saw recently. 30% are vulnerable to flooding. Now that's, that can happen pretty much anywhere. I mean, look at what just happened in Libya with a massive thunderstorm that just literally washed an entire town into the sea. Although we're seeing this it really hitting the Midwest hard. The Tennessee, Kentucky, the northern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, all the way across, from the Midwest across. And 10% are in wildfire zones. And that's principally the West Coast, although some of it is in the Rocky Mountains. And now we're starting to see wildfire zones. I mean, you had wildfires in New Jersey, recently. So, but they're saying that these state-sponsored last resort policies, since 2016, policies under this program have risen by 168%. That's the number of policies to insure 1.3 million people. The average premium has gone up 61%, from around $2,000 to around $3,000 a year, or $3,300 a year. They note that the previous governor of Florida, that would be current U.S. Senator Rick Scott, had banned the state in any state agency documents from referencing the words climate change. Rick Scott, in deference to the right-wing billionaires, the fossil fuel billionaires who helped fund his campaigns, Rick Scott had literally executive order out of Florida that the state could not use the word climate change under any circumstances, anywhere. Ron DeSantis came in and he banned Florida cities and towns from adopting 100% clean energy goals on the grounds that it discriminates against fossil fuels. Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, this idiocy is not anywhere near a strong enough word to describe this. Allstate, American Family, Nationwide, Erie Insurance Group, and Berkshire Hathaway have stopped issuing policies in many of these risk areas. And the companies that are left are raising both premiums and deductibles. And the net effect of this is that an estimated 39 million homes in America right this moment are overvalued. In other words, if you were to buy a home in Florida, for example, which is, in one of these sacrifice zones to climate change, or in southern Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, along the Gulf Coast of Texas, if you were to buy a home in any of those areas right now, and say you pay, $300,000 for the house, what you're going to discover is a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, as the insurance companies start underwriting, reevaluating the policies and the risks associated with these policies, that the insurance premiums are going to go up, and in many cases might not even be available to people. And the result of that will be that the housing price, the value of the housing is going to go down. So your $300,000 house, 5 years down the road, when you expect the value has gone up and, hey, this adds to my retirement and all that kind of thing, the $300,000 house is now a $250,000 house or a $200,000 house.